We have thumbs up and thumbs down on this show, and now we introduce a new position, the wagging finger of shame, which is awarded to movies that the studios are too embarrassed to screen in advance for movie critics. The first wagging finger of shame winner is the Amityville Horror, which opens this weekend without benefit of reviews, maybe because the studio knows something about this movie that they don't want you to know.
Well, I got another finger I'd like to give it, but okay, I like your institution of this new category. It's always upsetting.
Our first film is Congo, and for a thriller, it's pretty funny. But how much of the humor is intended is open to question. Maybe laughable is a better word. Maybe howlingly silly is better still. Congo follows an assortment of characters into the heart of the Congo. A scientist wants to return a homesick gorilla. He's trained to use sign language and drink martinis. I wish the film company that had made Congo would have had the courage, or maybe the stupidity, to have released to us scenes of the talking gorilla with her schoolgirl voice that's so inappropriate. I wish you also could have seen the first shots of the talking gorilla where the head covering an actor is plainly visible. More problems. Tim Curry's character is a nut. Ernie Hudson's is a lightweight as their guide, and Joe Don Baker, a buffoon, as a villain. In short, Congo is a mess. I'd like to say it's so bad it's good, but in its concluding act, it was simply boring.
I disagree. I agree with what you observe. I disagree with your interpretation. First of all, Ernie Hudson was fabulous as the guide. He reminded me of Clark Gable in the way that he handled this role, the way that he balanced humor with kind of a bemused detachment. Now, you talk about...
I thought I heard it all.
Let's keep going. You talk about the gorilla's bad voice that you didn't like. Gene, I think you missed the point. She uses American Sign Language in order to activate a speech synthesizer.
I know, that's correct.
And it's supposed to be funny. It was hilarious.
I laughed at it, not with it. This has some goofy funniness to it.
I think if people go with the right state of mind, they're going to have a terrific
Yeah, have
time.
a couple of martinis.
A student and his friends talk about a campus secret society, and that scene from The Skulls, a new thriller about which the word ridiculous comes quickly into the mind. Joshua Jackson stars as Luke, who's only a townie, and his parents aren't rich, but he's on the championship rowing crew, and he's tapped to be a skull. The initiation ceremony involves risking his life to steal a weather vane from the clubhouse of a rival society. I think The Skulls has been inspired by Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. The film is set in New Haven, but it's sneaky and it never quite mentions the name of the college. There is a big Y on the wall in some shots, so maybe it's Yazoo State. The villains are slimy, the hero is conflicted, and the Skulls are impossibly powerful. They hold a duel right there on their club ground. The Skulls go so far over the top that this movie may have a future at festivals of bad movies.
This was so entertainingly awful that I can almost recommend it, but I can't do that to people because they have to spend real money for this. My favorite bad thing about it is it's supposed to be a secret society, right? The Skulls, except for the Skulls have this big logo twisting atop their castle, and they give Skulls watches out and Skulls necklaces. They have more logo placement than Nike with all the skulls in this.
Now, what I want to know is, George W. Bush, who was a member of Skull and Bones at Yale, if he takes off his watch, does he have... Is he been
Skull's
branded?
tattoo?
Yeah, but that's got to be made up.
They
Come
have
on,
a tattoo.
now, that
All
can't
of
be
this stuff
true.
is made up.
It
It's
can't
so
be
bad.
true.
There's probably
the Skull and Bones ought to sue.
Well, I don't think they want to even be associated with this. Nobody does. Craig T. Nelson's probably going to go to a currency exchange to cash his check from this movie. It's so bad. I got to tell you, it's really, really awful.
And our next movie involves the adventures of a talking parrot named Polly. And this parrot doesn't merely talk like a human, he thinks like a human too. He's not so much a bird as a very small stand-up comedian wearing feathers. In a way, this whole movie comes down to whether or not you like Polly the parrot, and I didn't. He talks and talks and talks. And at first you're amazed by a talking parrot, but by the end of the movie you're ready for the parrot to shut up already.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like Paulie either. Now, I want to tell you something, just by sheer coincidence. 2 days before we saw this movie, I saw a movie called Babe Again. Oh, my God.
Babe.
It can't, in other words, it can be done. You can anthropomorphize a creature.
I'd like to correct. It can be done with a pig, a dog, a horse, and a cat, and a monkey.
And a duck.
And a duck and a whale. But it can't be done with a parrot.
Well, I wouldn't put limits on people. It can be done with good writing, and there isn't any in this one. I mean, no, I did not like Paulie. I wanted to have a big cat come up and just eat the parrot.
That's cruel, Gene.
That's intended to be cruel.
Sleepover. This is a hopeless movie, almost pathetic in the way it assembles the usual materials of a teenage girl comedy, but is completely unable to do anything interesting with them. Once again, we get the smart but unpopular girls, led by Alexa Vega, and the pack of snobs who rule the school, led by Sarah Paxton. Lots and lots of would-be comedy in this movie involves sneaking out of the house and, of course, sneaking into the house. There's even a scavenger hunt in this movie, and it seems very important when they first announce it, although the movie keeps seeming to forget about it. And isn't it strange how the adults remain oblivious to the total chaos happening all around them? Thumbs down.
Yeah, you know, Jeff Garlin and Jane Lynch, who play the parents, are both very good. Lynch has been in some of the Christopher Guest films. Jeff Garlin is on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I'd rather see a movie about them, but real characters, and not just these idiotic parents who are oblivious. And you know, Roger, this has got to be about the 8th movie this year where the girl has looked across the courtyard and has seen the hunky dude take off either his skateboard helmet or his motorcycle helmet or whatever, and he kind of shakes his dark hair. She's like, oh, I must have him.
And
I mean,
were you totally surprised that everything comes to a head at the prom?
Yeah, at the prom, which they're not even old enough to be at. And also, there's a speech that Alexa Vega makes to a girl who's a similar kind of wallflower that's actually mean. It strikes the exact wrong tone near the end of the film. I thought, boy, they're really missing it. This is a terrible film.
It's more or less what you are hoping for or expecting as a made-for-video sequel to The Lion King. It's not at the level of the theatrical releases that Disney does, but on the other hand, if you're interested in what happened to the characters, you want to see kind of a Romeo and Juliet scenario played out in the Serengeti, then it's fun on that level.
But you know what I'm talking about with the songs?
Yeah.
You couldn't. I couldn't hum one from the picture.
Nope. And as we know, people are still humming Hakuna Matata. The problem with this movie is Chris Tucker never shuts up. He acts less like a cop than like a madman on speed. I was personally embarrassed during a scene in a casino where he starts screaming that the dealer is a racist. I don't think long rants where black guys insult white guys are any funnier than when white guys insult black guys, especially when the white guy hasn't done anything. And the other actors then have to stand around pretending not to notice that they're in the company of an egomaniacal motor mouth. There are some impressive stunts in the movie and some funny moments, but basically Rush Hour 2 sinks under the weight of Chris Tucker's overacting.
He's deadly. He is so deadly, and he thinks that if he's loud, that means he's funny. And I guess we're supposed to think so too because he's the co-star of this film. But he is just fingernails on the chalkboard of my life, this guy. I don't want to see him do anything. And yeah, Jackie Chan does great stunts. We can see him do that in 50 other movies. So I think this thing is a real bomb.
What you have to do, it seems to me, is Chris Tucker has to agree to be a character, to play a character, to be somebody we can recognize as human instead of simply walking in like some kind of a stand-up comic into every situation and just firing in every direction.
I'm a black man, I'm a black man. There's a lot of stuff here that's like almost like Charlie Chan and Stepin Fetchit stuff, just insults based on race.
You know, when you get right down
really
to
it, you know,
film, if he were a white guy doing the reverse of what he's doing, it would be too racist to film.
It's an unfunny mess, I think.
I think that in relationships, just to say exactly how you feel, especially at the beginning, is something that people can do because they have to know how the other person feels because before they know they can risk being honest.
Well, that's the problem,
and this is what the whole movie is about. The girl likes one guy. Then she finds out he doesn't like her. Then she finds out the other guy likes her, so then she likes him. And so often in relationships, that's it. Who do you like? You like the people who like you.
Well, you're talking about the tension that he creates with people. Now, they are younger people. That's what my point is in making it. And typically this is done with older people. And we see this, you know, we've seen comedies and American comedies about young people having bad relationships. This is handled with so much more intelligence and simplicity than the most American films. That's what I enjoy.
always has so much insight into human nature. I can remember when I was in high school. That's a long time ago. When I was 14 years old. A girl wanted to break up with me. And you know what she told me? She said, she likes you. And the moment that I heard that, I just turned away to the one who did like me, you see, because I was such a pushover for the fact that I was being accepted. I think there's something of that in everybody at every age, that one of the most amazingly attractive things about a woman, Gene, is the fact that she likes you.
Well,
that makes her attractive. Well, shows what good sense she has.
Yes, I can't argue with that. Can't argue with that at all. I don't know what that has to do with the movie, except that we now know what happened to Roger at 14.